Vietnam. How many of you have been to Vietnam? So why is Vietnam written this way?
Just the French?
Vietnam uses their own language. They don't use Chinese, they refuse to use Chinese, refuse to use French, they refuse to use English. So what they've held on, so with the Roman letters, you have this little gadget here. So there is a break in Vietnam. I used to be able to translate this, but I don't remember now what it actually means in English. But Vietnam, you know, for 1,000 years, you know, they were occupied from the beginning of the China invasion, then the French, and then the Vietnam War. Like, well, 1,000 years. So there is enormous generation of grief and suffering that they have. So when they came to America, and when people died, you know, it was the same thing. They would come into the hospital, and this just sounds like awful what some people had said. Well, you know Japanese, you know, they're from Asia, you know, they all talk the same way. Go help them in the emergency room. Now, what does that tell you about the level of cultural feelings that they knew about Asia? I mean, I would say nothing about it. I says, I know what they're saying. And sometimes, you know, we in this work, sometimes the least we comment to something, the more we learn more about what somebody is saying. So when we draw attention to it, it shuts it down. So sometimes by not making any, you hear more stuff later. It'll come to you, gee, I wonder where that come from. So I go to an emergency room and meet the family. And who's there? There's like everybody there. And who do I become? I'm not a doctor. I mean, at that time. They say, oh, go ask Dr. Sean. But you know, all I gave them just a piece of paper. But all of a sudden they'd come in this, I'm going to see Dr. Sean. There was nobody in the emergency room that was Dr. Sean. And so who is that? I said, oh yeah, that's that guy who works in the psych unit. Let's call him up. They come, oh, here you are. And they start talking in Vietnamese. And you know what was really weird? Just by the way they were talking, the sounds and the faces and it's almost like knowing what they were saying, because it was like they had full permission to say whatever they want right in my face, and I knew I wouldn't make, be more non-judgmental kind of like, because I had this previous connection with them. And what had happened was a woman had come in once, I think with her son. I don't remember exactly what I did, but she must have told all the Vietnamese in San Jose and Mountain View, like, go to El Camino Hospital in Mountain View and he'll fix it. Because they would come, and she would come sometimes, she'd bring presents to not just to me, but to the psych unit. But she'd never been to the psych unit because of what we were doing, just to listen, to kind of figure out. So this is not a psychiatric crisis. It looks first like a psychiatric crisis, because Vietnamese don't say like, I'm suffering. They say, I have a pain here. They don't say, I'm hallucinating. They say, I got a pain here. Could you fix it, doctor? So they tell you about some pain they're having, rather than having a depression. Oh, I guess I wasn't very nice to mom when she was alive or something. And so they're thinking like, mom who died, and she's back, and we didn't bring her body over here. You know, so they'll talk to you like that, as if it's some kind of ancestral communication. Oh, and you kind of go along with the story, and then after a little while, they'll say, you know, I'm not. And you say, well, tell me how you've been sleeping. Oh, I've been up all night for 3 nights, just head banging, you know, headache, you know, this kind of thing. And you get a little bit more, but it can take so long. I mean, it could be like almost a whole day. You know, there's no time scale. But if you work in an emergency room, sometimes this is what it takes. When Vietnamese first came to the emergency room, when they were coming in, and they had never seen anything like it. I mean, have you ever gone to a hospital in a foreign country? You know, you see, like, they don't have emergency rooms. You just walk in. It looks like kind of like a store. Everything is all around there, as if it's very, very different than how we have it here. it's sort of like what's it called here, the unknown soldier. You know, those who died with no name. We don't know the name, but they've died. So it's honourable those that have died in the past and those that die after. So if you ever gone to Washington D.C. to the unknown soldier grave, it's just an amazing place. You said you saw it? There's 3 people buried there, isn't there? Is it 3?
I don't remember.
Yeah, something. Yeah. It's just, and they don't know who they are. These three men that were brought from you.
Oh, it was 3. Yeah.
Sorry.
It was 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so it's really an emotional place. I mean, it's just, you know. So you have to sit there. You could sit there for about an hour or so just to let it sort of soak into you. It's